Hey guys, Rexazor here, and welcome to a Tuesday, not a Monday. And I think this is going to be what it's going to be like going forward. I'm going to rename this series, because of it, Patch Notes. Because Monday's going to be very difficult for me to do going forward. It's not going to happen, guys. So the well-famed, well-beloved Update Monday is actually not going to continue in the form that it was. It's going to be the exact same. It's going to be on Tuesday or another day of the week, and it's just going to have to be called something else because I don't want to just call it an Update Tuesday because that's just not cool. So we're just going to go with Patch Notes because why not? Sorry, I haven't been around for the last week and a bit. That is mental health related. And also just time related because I have started my new position, my new job, which is taking some time. I need to be, and probably will need to be, in the office a bit more often. I'll probably get into the swing of things a bit more. It's possible that I'll be able to continue doing Monday patch notes, but that's all we got for the time being. I can't really go into the nitty-gritty of my job, but effectively, yeah, it's just the way it goes sometimes. I hope everyone is doing good. I'm sorry I've been away for a bit. I'm not sorry that I've been away for a bit. I needed the time off, to be honest. But a lot has happened. A lot of it is D&D related, role-playing related, spending time with friends, and then just generally working through things and figuring stuff out, which is good. And needed sometimes. So, in terms of what's been going on, well, I've been doing a lot of hobbying. The High Elves have come out for Warhammer, so I built a bunch of those. I'm going to spray them hopefully later when the sun has warmed us up a bit more. As you can see, I am very snuggled. I've been doing a bunch of roleplay. We've moved our D&D from Tuesdays to Mondays, which benefits me greatly, so I'm very happy about that. We had a session yesterday and we had a session the day before. They're currently working through a dungeon. Yesterday we had a really cool event happen in the game. They spent 3 hours exploring 3 rooms, which is D&D in a nutshell. And I hope everyone had a good time doing it. I know that it wasn't mostly the most fun for some of the players, because it was a lot of, I'm going to end my turn and do nothing, because there's not really much they could do. But there is. And yeah, one of the players found something, and it's going to shape, hopefully, is going to shape some of the story going forward and what will happen. In the other campaign, the Sunday campaign, they finally finished the stronghold assault that they were doing. They had a really cool final moment in the thing where one of the organizations came to assault the stronghold with them, and they had a really big fight at the end and got to see dragons in action and stuff, and it was really, really cool. I had to speed up quite a bit because there was a lot going on, so it may not have been as epic as it could have been, but I feel like I wanted to finish that chapter, that session. So we played quite a longer time than I would maybe have, and we finished on a pretty sad, bittersweet note because one of the characters had died, so they did the eulogy and buried him at sea. So yeah, and then we've got next session is going to be the not fallout of what's just happened, but partially fallout, but also the celebration. One of the big events that happened very early in the campaign has finally been resolved, or at least has come to a point where resolution can happen. Questions will have to be answered or asked in the first place, and we'll see where the party wants to take everything going forward. We played some Vaesen 2 weeks ago now. It was the week before last. That was really fun. We finally started our new basically Vaesen chapter. It was really, really fun. I'm playing a very different character, as is my friend Andrew. We had a really good time, and yeah, it was really, really good. really looking forward to sussing out what the story is this time. Yeah, no, it was good. Really enjoyable. We had some really, really bad rolls. Considering the fact that in Vaesen you roll a bunch of dice depending on your skill check, and 1/6 is enough for a success. The other, Andrew, has a fighter who rolls 9 dice when doing specifically fighting and boxing, and he rolled it twice and got no 6s, and on the third attempt he then got 1/6. So there were some pretty shit rolls going on there. And then on the Saturday, we had our friend from out of town come, and we did a bunch of Warhammer on the Friday, and then on the Saturday, and then we started a D&D one-shot, which is going to be like probably a multiple time thing. It's basically like a heist that is in one of the modules, where we have come as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we did a whole preparatory phase, and that's all we got through. But the preparatory phase wasn't even in the module, it turns out. So we had a really good time with it. That was really funny. We had a really, really fun time doing that prep phase. And yeah, overall, it was good. It was a good weekend. I think I learnt basically that I don't like using my Tyranids in a small capacity. Small points games of 1,000 points ain't for me. They're just not. They work really well. I mean, the whole point here is that they en masse, or they work together quite a lot. And when you've only got 1,000 points to play with, you don't really get that. So I just don't particularly like playing them. So going forward, I'm going to be playing my Space Marines more so at 1,000 points. I feel like they work better in kind of their unique style. What else was I going to say? I kind of just skipped. Oh yes. Yeah, so I've been building up my elves. I purchased a few of them. I purchased mostly like the dragon. So when Warhammer Fantasy was discontinued, the elves had come out just a few months before, and it was back when I was still too young to really have my own like large enough income to put a lot of money into it. So I basically was like, oh yeah, I make the decision, I'm gonna move and make elves. I got the army book, and I was preparing to get my first models. I got a bunch of second-hand models, and then a week later, after having made these purchases, the game was announced to be discontinued and that they wouldn't update anything. So a lot of people just basically was like, I'm not playing this anymore. So it felt like I had made a decision to do something and it never happened. So now that the Old World is out and the High Elves are now back, I jumped on the opportunity to build up the army to the place where I want it to be. There's a few additions that I still need or would like to get the kind of army that I was looking for, but those models are not out yet. They're coming in the second wave that they do, so that will be a future purchase. But I've got the army in a steady place where I want it. I've been building up, specifically the dragon model. It's a really cool model. It's completely ridiculous. It's a terrible model for storing, for displaying and everything, but it looks really fucking cool. And it's the first dragon model that Games Workshop did in the current line of dragon models and how they make them. So you can tell that this is the early prototype, and everything that they've made that's dragon-like sort of stems from this as the forefather of how they make dragon models. And so it holds a special place in a lot of our hearts as being this is when Games Workshop started to know how to do this in terms of their modelling quality. And yeah, it's a really fucking cool model. I have no idea how I'm going to transport it everywhere because it's going to take so much space. I think I should be fine because I have enough. I bought a third carry box specifically for my Tyranids, but I think this is going to be fine. So, but I've got to spray them. I'm going to do that later and then get to painting them. I'm going to go with a very different scheme. I'm still sort of trying out the scheme, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray a lot of the old models that I've got as well. And I'm going to spend, I think, quite a bit of time trying to get the what's the word I'm looking for? The theme of the army done. Because I want to do pinks. I want to do lighter colours on this, but I don't want it to look too garish or too just thrown together. I think my Space Marines work well because they're quite darkish colours, and then because it's a grey model basically. Grey, the armour is grey, and then it has like red and blue, which kind of pop out the model for that. And then it has like bits of very light blue, very light green. With my Tyranids, the contrast between their grey, sorry, they're not grey, they have like a dark blue and a sort of purplish, which works really well against one another. And then it has, I don't know if you can hear that, but a car alarm's going off. It has then, some models will have like a really, really like deep green, which really works well, really pops out on the model, especially when it's all together. And then my Chaos, I think my Chaos theme is the best, personally. Once again, I've gone with a grey kind of dark armour, but then it has, depending on the mark of Chaos that they're following, they'll either have red or green, or blue, depending on those three. I'm not using any Slanesh, which means I'm not using any purples. I'm not using any purples or pinks for that, although I might add some in the future. And then with like the fact that I'm using things like Nurgle creatures, it means I have a utilization of a lot of different types of greens, which work really well together and complement each other. Obviously, you're following the same part of the colour wheel. So I wanted to do something different for my, because I've used a lot of dark colours. I wanted to do something a bit more bright. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that with my high elves, because I want to use a pink or something light, like a really light red or oranges or something like that. Because I just want to experiment with that. My Bretonians already have yellow, because I do yellow and red, and that works really well because it's a historical colour palette, so that works well. But I don't want to just repeat that. And yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's what I've been doing. What I'm planning to do going forward. What else? In terms of video games, I finished my XCOM 2 playthrough. It was really fun. That game's insane. I love it. It got to the point, I feel like my only issue with XCOM 2, and that's because I played so much of it, is because I know how to play it. I get to a point where, because effectively the entire game is just an escalation of arms and equipment, and you're trying to race the enemy. You're trying to tech up the enemy faster than they tech up. So by the time you have plasma, you wanna have plasma before they get like sectopods, before they get like their top armor upgrades and things like that. I feel like because I know the game so well, I get to it too quickly, and that means that the enemies are never really a threat. But I know that if I wasn't going that quickly, they would be a threat. And effectively, I wish where we ended wasn't like, I wish the aliens had not a whole level above, but like a half level above, so that they were always ahead, so it makes you want to finish the game quicker. Because I always because of the way that I play the game, I end the game usually having the whole map under my control. I have towers on every single section of the map, and I've got like thousands of income sort of lying around that I can't use because I've already bought everything. Because I know that I don't need to rush the end when I get to that point. I kill all 3 chosen, and then it's kind of like the game's fine now. There's no rush to do anything. I can get through any problem. So yeah, that's my only slight gripe with the game. But that's such a small issue right at the end that it's not really a problem. And then the final level is just really fun, because it is literally just get your most powerful people and just wreck everything, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. Really enjoyed just a run of that again. And then following that, I went back to Skyrim. I've started a completely new save again, and this time I'm trying to focus a lot more on destruction and on magic. I've not gone full magic. I've gone with, what are they called? Battle Mage, that's what it is, where it's blade and magic. So I'm trying to reduce my use of stealth and archery, which is, having done quite a bit at magic and blade, stealth archery is just really fun. It's just really rewarding, because it just feels great. But I'm having to consciously be like, no, don't do that, do this. Like, just focus. I've got a really cool like two-hander that I'm using when I run out of magic, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna like swap out at some point, because it's just it's not unfun, but it's not as fun, if that makes sense. And that's the problem that everyone has with Skyrim, and just the way that the leveling system is in that. It's more efficient to be a stealth archer, because you don't lose health as much. You don't have 70 enemies coming towards you because you're stealthed. You level up both archery and stealth and light armor at the same time because of how the leveling system works. Whereas if you're doing battle magic, you only ever level your magic, and then your two-hander or one-hander shield, your heavy armor, light armor, depending on what you're wearing. If you get hit, so you're taking damage, which you don't want to, because that's how you die, and then you have to reload. Whereas the stealth archer, because you're killing things and they're not spotting you, you're not losing health, which means it's safer, which means it's just a better way to play. So it's understandable why the leveling system is that way, but it's obviously an issue with the game. That maybe they'll do it differently in Elder Scrolls 6, but who knows. I also watched a little bit of Cucumber play some Skyrim Chaos mod, which was interesting to say the least. It was a D&D day, so I didn't catch all of it, but it was, what I saw was absolute chaos. Definitely not what I will be doing. So yeah, I wouldn't have the patience, to be honest. But it was funny. I hope that you guys had a good stream. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else, but I don't think there is anything else, to be honest. Played a bit of squash this weekend, which was really good, and then they have no availability during the week, which is not good, because fucking squash Wales using the Sports Wales facilities for their own athletes, how dare they? Yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so going forward, tomorrow we have a pub quiz which we're going to, which will be fun. And then this weekend's going to be pretty quiet for me. I may be doing some Warhammer with a friend, depending on any decision that is made. If not, then I'll just be doing like D&D prep or stuff that I need to do in the background. Painting, most likely. And then yeah, that's about it for this week. Actually, it's not super busy. I don't really want it to be super busy. I'm quite happy, content for it to be more chill for the meantime. And I'm getting to grips with my new job, which right now is a lot of waiting for permissions to be assigned to me and all the stuff from when you start a new job in the government. So there you go. It is what it is. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Welcome to a new chapter. Ooh, it's the same but on a different day. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good time, and I'll see you around.